for the window like a fading prayer. Streetlights swam slowly in the trembling glass, and the room held still so the past could pass. A cup left a circle on the wooden brown, like a little moon that would not go down. No one called her name, no one moved the chair, only rain on her sleeve, coffee in the air. She didn't speak, but the silence grew soft enough to hold what the evening knew. Rain on her sleeve, warmth in her hands. Nothing was broken, nothing was planned. Just one small table, one late night tune. Rain on her sleeve and a room full of June. Her hair held the scent of a long work day, mixed with the kind of thoughts that never stay. The neon outside turned silver then blue, as if the whole night bent around her view. She looked like someone who had learned to wait, not for a person, but a softer fate. And all the air between the lamp and chair felt like a life returning somewhere there. City sounds faded behind the blind, leaving only what she could not leave behind. Rain on her sleeve, warmth in her hands. Nothing was broken, nothing was planned. Just one small table, one late night tune. Rain on her sleeve and a room full of June. Maybe sorrow doesn't always cry, maybe it settles where the steam can rise. Maybe memory comes dressed this way, in rain, in light, in the end of day. Rain on her sleeve, still holding on. The night was gentle after the storm. One quiet woman, one coffee moon. Rain on her sleeve in a room full of June. Rain on her sleeves, soft in the light. No need for answers, no need for goodbye. Just one more heartbeat, one more slow bloom. Rain on her sleeve and a room full of June. Warm light by the window, coffee cooling slow tonight. I came home with the sound of the city down by the hallway table and watched the quiet fill the room. There was a time this hour felt lonely. Now it feels gentle, faded true, like gold sleeves folded in a drawer, still holding traces of perfume. Nothing calls too loud, nothing asks to stay, but some feelings live in the smallest part of day. Warm light by the window, a little gold against the blue. Some nights don't need a reason, they just return what once was true. Not every memory aches, not every silence means goodbye. Some hearts learn to rest in the warm light by the window side. The cup left a ring upon the table, a perfect little moon of brown. And in the glass I caught my shadow, older now, but softer somehow. I thought of voices in the kitchen and songs we used to leave on low, not to hold on to what is over, just to feel how far warmth can go. Nothing needs to break, nothing needs to burn. Some evenings simply glow with the things we cannot return. Warm light by the window, a little gold against the blue. Some nights don't need a reason, they just return what once was true. Not every memory aches, not every silence means goodbye. Some hearts learn to rest in the warm light by the window side. The street is quiet, silver white, and all the days I thought were lost are sitting softly here tonight. Not every memory aches, not every silence leaves a scar. Some hearts keep living on where the small and tender hours are. Warm light by the window, coffee cooling slow tonight. A coffee cup was breathing on the table. Your fingers drew a circle in the steam. The lamp was low, speaking soft and faded, a song we used to hum without a name. You wore the pause like something made of velvet, and let the room remember us again. The city hummed behind the curtain line, but here the clock forgot its usual tone. There was warmth left in the cup long after words were gone, like a little light that stayed when the rest moved on. You didn't cry, you didn't turn, you only held the dawn, and I kept breathing in the warmth left in the cup. Maybe love is not the fire, maybe love is what remains in the ring upon the wood, in the sand that knows your name. There was warmth left in the cup, soft as winter sun, a small and steady kind of grace. After everything was done, you sat beside the quiet room as if you belonged to none, and I kept living with the warmth left in the cup. The chairs were turned upon the tables. The sign outside was almost dark. You sat beneath the final yellow, holding silence like a paper cup. A little tired, a little lovely, a little far from where you'd been. Closing time coffee, still sweet on your lips. A day full of people falls down into this. One quiet woman, one dim little light. Closing time coffee, Before the coffee cools, tell me nothing at all. Let the room speak first, let the evening fall. There's a glow upon your sleeve, and the air is turning slow. Some nights ask for silence more than they ask to know. Just stay long enough to breathe before the coffee cools. Stay inside this light where the old songs bloom soft against the night. You don't have to promise, you don't have to prove. Just breathe beside me before the coffee cools. The spoon beside the cup makes a little silver line, like a memory resting at the edge of time. You smile without trying, like someone who has seen how ordinary kindness can make a whole room clean. No reasons, no defense, only this hour in the hush between. Before the coffee cools, stay inside this light where the old songs bloom soft against the night. You don't have to promise, you don't have to prove. Just breathe beside me before the coffee cools. Maybe what we save is never something loud. Maybe it's this warmth that doesn't leave the crowd. Maybe love grows small so it can stay true, quiet as the steam before the coffee cools. Before the coffee cools, stay inside this light. All the tired hearts can rest a while tonight. You don't have to answer, you don't have to move. Just stay here softly before the coffee cools. Before the coffee cools, hold this little room, hold this little room where the lamp, the chair, the song are gently making room. No promises, no proof, only breath and truth. Just stay here with me before the coffee cools. In the cafe glass I saw two women. One was now and one was yesterday. Both were holding cups the same warm color. Both had learned how certain feelings stay. Soft music inside, wet roads outside. Two different times laid side by side. When she smiled for a second through the rain, I saw a familiar face again. The sand upon her collar felt like another year. The lines upon her hand looked kind and clear. Nothing had been lost, only slowly lived. Time was showing what it chose to give. It wasn't someone else she wanted back, only a way to understand the self she had. Red taillights drifting through the rainy street shook like a quiet kind of peace. Looking back is not always regret. Sometimes it means accepting who you are. Her reflection in the cafe glass looked like someone I once knew. Not younger, not sadder, only passing through. Coffee light and city rain made the evening new. Her reflection in the cafe glass brought the old into view. We were never gone, we were only layered. Yesterday laid softly on the breath of now. And the night, like a sheet of glass, show the truth without a Her reflection in the cafe glass doesn't feel so strange tonight. Not broken, not unfinished, only held by light. Coffee rain and evening glow turned the memory kind. Her reflection in the cafe glass holds the woman I have become. This old coffee house remembers better than I do. The wooden floor, the curtain lace, the afternoon blue. A woman sits where all the years collect like dust and gold. Not to return to anything, but simply to let it unfold. A faded frame upon the wall, the pattern on a cup, the warmth of all the passing lives that settled and got up. Nothing here is truly gone. It lingers in the room and slowly calls the former days into a gentler bloom. Old coffeehouse memory slowly comes to me, not as pain, not as fire, more like air I breathe. A little brown table, a little fading tune. Old coffeehouse memory blooming in the room. It feels much larger than first love or a single phase. An entire life of seasons moving through this place. The awkwardness of younger days now wears a kinder skin. What once I judged so harshly, I can finally let back in. The afternoon wind by the glass not the grain of wood, not the patient eyes. What remains is sometimes enough to teach a heart how to survive. Old coffeehouse memory slowly comes to me. Days I cannot bring back now, I finally turn to peace. A little brown table, a little late sunbeam. Old coffeehouse memory stays alive in me. Old coffeehouse memory never fully fades. Not a person, not a season, but the texture life has made. One cup of coffee, one slow afternoon. Old coffeehouse memory seats me in the room. A radio voice crossed the room so softly. She kept one hand resting on the page. Coffee cooled beside a half-read story, and the night grew tender with its age. Her glasses lay beneath the lamp, an old receipt tucked between the lines. What spoke the most was not the sentence there, but the hesitation taking time. Maybe ending something sometimes means not turning the page at all. The page she didn't turn said more than words can say. Some things are kept in silence so they don't fade away. Her coffee, her shadow, the song, the lamp, the air. The page she didn't turn, was everything still there? The night air brushed the paper through the window frame. Her eyes were resting somewhere past the words again. What mattered more than what she tried to read was the heart that sat there quietly. He'd need the face that held itself all through the day began to loosen in the dim half-light. And maybe some small door inside her heart opened just a little that night. There are nights when leaving something still becomes the deepest thing you can say. The page she didn't turn said more than words can say. Some things are kept in silence so they don't fade away. Her coffee, her shadow, the song, the lamp, the air. The page she didn't turn was everything unfinished scenes, or how we become whole again. The page she didn't turn still holds me even now, not because I forgot, but because I laid my heart there slow. Her coffee, her shadow, the breathing of the room, the page she didn't turn still keeps a trace of you. The afternoon was folded in coffee, like a note inside a coat. She sat where the last light gathered and watched the quiet float. Slow shadows leaned across the glass, warm dust glowed near the frame. She didn't need to tell the day. The evening knew her name. Even on a tired day, the heart can still be kind. Afternoon folded in coffee, soft along the rim. Some days never ask for answers, they only asked to dim. She smiled like something tired, still willing to be kind. Afternoon folded in coffee and settled in her mind. Before a name or a memory came the color of that warmth. Life moves often without warning, yet moments like this can save a day. She turned the cup and took a breath and stopped condemning all the hours, watching one side of her face grow bright. I thought this must be what comfort is, what covers the old days best is not a speech but softer light. Afternoon folded in coffee, soft along the rim. Some days never ask for answers, they only ask to dim. She smiled like something tired, still willing to be kind. Afternoon folded in coffee and settled in her mind. Life is not always perfect, and still it can be warm. A person is not always happy, and still can remain kind. That kind of afternoon folds itself into the air. Afternoon folded in coffee came at the end of day and gently held the unanswered hours. you.